Jean Chia, Chief Investment Officer at the Bank of Singapore. You've got the Silicon Valley in the US, you've got the Pearl River Delta in China, the likes of Tencent, Alibaba, they used to be all powerful. Is it too early to be writing them off?
Now, I can't rule out the fact that, the giants of the past will continue to be so, but I'm actually more interested now to look at the giants of the future. So what are the companies right now with emerging technologies? I think there are so many sectors still very, very much in work in progress in terms of development work, whether it's in environmental technology, EVs, and also semiconductor supply chain. Those are the areas that the Chinese government clearly is pouring a lot of capital into. The key now is whether that entrepreneurial dynamic starts to also develop so that we see more and more world-class companies coming out of China as well. So never say never. I think those technologies are also being developed elsewhere in Asia, whether it's Japan, Korea, India, and even Southeast Asia. So I think this is a healthy broadening out of the opportunity set for investors in this sector.
Well, it was very clear from your views during that panel, Jean, that you were saying that China no longer dominates Asia in terms of economies, in terms of markets, that we need to be looking at markets like Japan, like India, in their own right. Is that very much what you're telling clients?
Absolutely. So there is definitely a key trend now for our investors to look at Asia in its totality and to be a lot more circumspect about, having biases in terms of countries or sectors, which I see as a very healthy phenomenon to see that the China Plus One strategy for many companies will benefit Southeast Asian economies and India, for instance. The wealth effect of that is going to be significant for domestic economies around the region, all of which is a good phenomenon. Clearly, the demographic trends in Southeast Asia are also very conducive compared to that we are seeing in North Asia. So that just complements the reach as well as diversification for investors in Asia.
Here in Singapore, there's been something of an obsession recently with alternative assets, private markets in particular. And you mentioned that the community is still divided between those who favour private markets and those that don't. Are you a convert to the private markets?
Well, I'm an investor at heart, and so the things I value are not just in terms of the corporate governance aspect, the ability for a company to provide us with risk-adjusted returns, and also for the investment to provide the transparency required for us to do the educated due diligence required every time we invest in an asset. Regardless of whether it's private or public markets, I've always held this view. Now, I think where we stand now is that there is certainly a space for private markets for very key reasons that some companies do require the illiquidity premium where some technologies such as AI or environmental technology or some of the deep tech that we are seeing in the region, those companies could require patient capital, and that's what the private markets will afford them. In terms of private credit as well, some of the more efficient ways for companies to raise capital could be in the private space via the bilateral agreements that they have, and certainly there's a space for that. Now, on the other side of things, public markets have traditionally given us a lot more transparency, but also volatility. So if we marry the two, I think, as far as I'm concerned, I would like to see somewhere in the happy middle, where in terms of the private markets getting towards the level of transparency and accountability that we put onto public markets and to companies that are in the listed space.
So looking for that happy middle, you think at the moment we're maybe swaying too much to believe in private markets are the answer to everything?
Where I think the investors have actually evolved in a very big way is really requesting and requiring the transparency, and then now also understanding the different strengths and weaknesses of the managers. So I think manager selection has become a very key part of how private investors also look at this space.
Thank you very much, Jean Chia.
Thank you.